Bearcat Bounce Podcast. Back at it again. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. It's an interesting Monday following a week where things are firing up again back around campus. The football team in full force in summer workouts. The basketball team firing up their summer workout trials right now. Today, the first day back. The additions to the men's staff for the basketball program official ink is dry there. Tim Buckley joining the staff, big addition. It's also a Monday where we've got one guy, the fearless leader, who might have to leave early. We got the young pup who is saying he is going to be able to hop on later to talk about the huge official visit weekend for the football program. But it's also one where, we've got Aaron Smith and myself and Chad Brendel. And you know what? When Ryan Royer pops in, he'll pop in. Keegan Nicholson later. It's going to be a full, wild Monday. But it's also a Monday where I'm going to say hi to all the pals, all the guys, the squad. Only three of us in the room for the time being. Only three. Aaron Smith, Chad Brendel. Gentlemen, how are we?
Doing good. Been an eventful day and still have to go pick Kelsey up from Indiana here a little bit later tonight after she had a little volleyball trip the past couple days. So I will be here for the first half of the show, and then Keegan will slide in later and take my place, and things are good. My voice is about 70%, I'd say.
Yeah, 73%. Yeah.
I was with my best friend today, and I asked him, like, if I had a normal voice, is this what it would sound like?
Maybe.
It's on 73. Like, would this be
right.
my normal tone? But instead, I'm always on 100. So
yeah.
It is what it is.
The boy.
There he is.
Who do we have here?
The boy.
What's my podcast partners?
Hey, what's up,
buddy?
Hey, my good buddies.
Hey, how are we?
In the heat of some crazy times with a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, the heat. Definitely. Summer's here. Summer's upon us. Hot heat. But Royer, welcome on. We are live, by the way. Just want to let you know that. So how are we, Ryan?
Oh, we're live?
We're live.
Yeah. I'm just kidding. I'm doing well, man. Had a good weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing else really.
Okay. I'm right there with you.
Yeah. Excited to be here as always.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Aaron, sir, how are we?
Doing all right. Ran up to Columbus today to run some last-minute errands before tomorrow. We have a fairly relaxing day and head off to the hospital bright and early Wednesday to have ourselves a baby.
Game day, baby. Wednesday is game day.
So,
Are you ready?
I'm pretty excited.
Okay.
As ready as you're going to be to have total chaos for all over again.
Did you come up with a name?
We have some ideas, but we are still nameless. We'll see when we see the baby which one we go with.
Okay. It needs to
I think that's the right
acronym.
way.
Yeah.
You have a couple options, and then you look at the kid and you go, all right.
Yeah.
That's your name.
Yeah. So we got some ideas and we'll go from there. We've kicked some ideas around.
There we go. Papa Smith. Love it.
Geoffrey, I did not lie on the nightcap. Plans have changed a lot over the past 24 hours for me. So I went from not thinking I was going to be here to being here for half the show. You get what you get. Take it or leave it.
Well, we'll take that all the time.
All right.
All the Brenda we can get, baby. All the Brenda we can get.
Pause.
Yes, true. Big time pause. Big time
pause. Unreal.
But yeah, when I catch myself there, if I was driving and I had to pause like that, I'd probably swerve a little bit and maybe hit the curb. Kind of frustrate myself. Definitely think I need an oil change. The car, not myself, need an oil change, and that's going to be when I head to Danco Transmission and Auto Care. Danco Joe will hook it up. We're talking $10 off the next oil change, and we are talking 10% off the next fixing. Danco Transmission and out of here. Love you, Danco. Joe. As always, we love you. Royer, guess what we're going to do? Because we only have Chad, the fearless leader, for the beginning portions of it. So guess what we're going to do right off the bat?
Let me guess. Does it start with an R?
No, it doesn't. We're saving that for later. so you can still rev your engines on that. It starts with an M.
Mailbag.
Mailbag
go.
it up. We're gonna.
This is
it
crazy,
a
man.
summer. It's a crazy summer night. One of these Junes and Julys. The drag of summer. Hopefully we'll get Nico on soon. Hopefully some other guests to kind of kill the slow times. But hey, it's gonna be fun to dive right into the mailbag, right into the BBP mailbag, right off.
I'm gonna break your heart, Brent.
Oh, okay.
If I knew that I was gonna be here at 8:00 tonight,
Yes.
I had a guest.
Oh, wow. Of course.
Because of schedules, it'll probably be a couple weeks, but this
That's
guest
fine.
has agreed to come on.
Deal. Lock it in.
Do you know who it is?
I think you've mentioned it before. I think it's connected to new assistant men's basketball coach Tim Buckley.
Connected
shot
to four
doctor.
members. 4 members of the basketball staff are
Yeah.
connected to this person.
Yes. And I have read a plethora of articles about Buckley, and every single one of those articles, Tom Crean is the main topic of conversation as well. So you know what, it would be fascinating for me to come on. You know what I'd probably mention to Coach Crean? I'd say, Coach, tell me about the time that you and Coach Buckley went in to meet with Dwayne Wade in his house as you were recruiting him, and you guys misspelled Dwayne's first name on the front of the packet that you gave him. Yeah, your
They
thoughts
still
on
got
that, Coach? They still got it.
They still got it.
Yeah.
He credits Buckley for being the one that put him on Dwayne Wade.
Yep.
That's back when Dwayne had 2 knees.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, very nice. You need those to play basketball.
He did it without him.
He tried. He tried his darndest. That's for sure. But yeah, no, it's some pretty awesome stories when you do dive in depth. And man, Crean has nothing but nice things to say.
Sometime here in the near future, we will have on Tom Crean.
Lock it in.
It's coming.
The dog's love.
Royer,
dog.
behave yourself. You're
No idea. What
I love the guy, man. I'm behaving myself as much as I can. I might have to ask him a couple funny, good questions, but I'll be on my best.
He was my favorite color guy that that UC had this year. He was outstanding.
Ryan and Tom are going to have a tan off.
I know.
Oh yeah.
Depends on where this is. Who's going to win? When it is, I mean.
I'm going with Crean.
Okay. It's a
going
bet.
With Crean. All right.
It's a bet.
You heading to Florida anytime soon or something? Are you trying to get that?
Going to Hilton Head the end of June, end of this month.
Okay.
So
there
we'll be up and we'll be getting some sun.
The next couple weeks are going to be hectic here. So Aaron's having a baby.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm going to volleyball nationals starting on the 12th through the 19th. So I will be indisposed for a while unless I'm podcasting from the Universal Endless Nights Resort in Orlando.
Okay.
Which I don't think is likely. That's probably not going to happen. But yeah. So
well, what if you go with some somehow you're able to get some new Riff tasty bourbon down there, you know? Maybe
I'll look for it.
Yeah, maybe then you'll be able to pop on after that.
Yeah, I'll be
Hilton Head, a little golf for Royer. I love that. Get out there and swing the wrenches, lock it in. But
I think it would be better for the courses if I just stay on the beach. Don't want too many divots.
No, you got to sink in that long putt and let the crowd know, baby. Bring it back.
Only if Coach Sat is there, I can do that. But I don't know if I have it in me.
Which, by the way, you guys check out that Coach Sat interview. It was pretty good one.
I have not had a chance yet. No,
it's on the old YouTube. Sorry, I can't plug the guy that did it, but hey, it's pretty good. Just check it out. But yeah, I figured it'd be nice to pop into the mailbag right off the bat. There's some good questions in here. Good conversation-inducing questions. So normally this treat comes at the end, but we're going to treat the crowd right now. So Aaron, my man, mailbag it up.
All right. Start out in the football portion of the mailbag. Last year in Big 12 play, the Bearcats had the 4th most rushing yards in conference, but 2nd fewest rushing touchdowns, 8 in 9 games. Of the following 3 options, which will have the biggest impact on UC increasing their rushing touchdowns in 2024? Number 1, a revamped backfield. Number 2, continuity of the offensive line. Or 3, Brendan Sorsby and the threat of the passing attack, softening run defenses.
Do you guys want to knock it out, or you want me to go first? I think it's an easy answer.
I'm interested to hear
Ryan?
Royer's thoughts.
I know. Ryan, what you
it's
got?
hard for me to pay attention to the 5 different options, and I can't read all of them. That makes it hard.
You've got there's only 3 on this one. There's the revamped backfield, the continuity of the offensive line, or Brendan Sorsby and the threat of the passing attack, softening run defenses.
In the red zone, or just in general?
Just rushing touchdowns in general.
I think it's going to be mainly between Kiner and the O-line. I think having another year with the same guys, that definitely helps. And I think Corey is looking to establish himself for another season, and they're all going to be comfortable. I mean, reps are so important at this level. And when you have a full season under your belt and you get to come back, you're going to be noticeably better and more in sync. I think the offense in and of itself is just going to be more in sync too. But I think the first 2, the combination of Corey, and I also think adding Joe Royer, the tight end room seems to have been revamped with some transfers and some guys coming back from injury and guys that have waited their turn, hungry to block.
Monster freshmen.
Yeah. So don't forget about those tight ends. They count as O linemen when it's a running play. So.
For me, I want to say Sorsby because it would, stretch the defense out, but I'm going to say the revamped running back room. The fact that, they didn't quite have that home run hitter, if you will. Will they have that this upcoming year? You sure hope so, with all the additional kind of speed backs that they brought in through the portal. So, because it seemed like last year there was just numerous times that the line did their job, opened up a big hole. The running back was able to get to the 3rd level, but then either they weren't able to break away or they weren't able to have that one, missed tackle that, burst them through to the end zone. So I think continuing to revamp and kind of retool the running back room to get a little bit more speed back there to kind of mix well with the, obviously thunder attack that you get in Corey Kiner. I think that's going to probably be the main thing if I had to come up with one.
I'm going off grid. I'm going to say Sean Dawkins is actually going to be the biggest difference maker, as he has 15 years of experience coaching running backs. He helped Blake Watson get an all AAC honors at the running back position at Memphis. And I think that him being the new running backs coach is going to make the biggest difference in that running backs room.
Sorsby.
There we go.
You guys
We're
knew I
hitting
was
all
going
the
with
bases,
Sorsby.
baby. Yeah, I know.
You knew I was going with Sorsby.
That's why I laid off of it. Yeah, but yeah,
he stretches the field. He should, in theory, if he is who we think he is and has the potential to be. You can't just load the box or he'll be able to pick you apart. If you want to play one-on-one coverage out wide with the wide receivers and load the box to stop the run game, I don't think that's going to last long. So you add the tight end room, all the kind of weapons that they have in the slot, and then an improved wide receiver group, along with a great quarterback. And I think some of those handoffs find that little extra wiggle room that the backs maybe didn't see last year, because the passing game was zero threat. It was there was really no concern of what was going on out wide. So I have to go Sorsby. Spread it out, attack the middle, a little bit more space, More touchdowns. But it's a great question because it's one of those things. They ran the ball up and down the field. They could not get in the end zone. No. That has to change. Has to change.
Well, and also add in with Sorsby the fact that you saw throughout the latter half of last year at IU, he became a threat himself to score rushing touchdowns.
Yes.
When they got into the red zone. So that additionally is,
Emory was a threat to run it in, though.
He was, but it just seemed like those powers, like it was just one tiny little step or one little, couldn't quite squeeze it past into the end zone.
How many snaps did Emory take under center, though? I mean, I think that would have made a difference, but
I don't think Sorsby's going to take a lot of snaps under center either, Aaron. So I don't think that's going to change much of anything.
Yeah.
In any case, do you think we'll get a redesigned jersey that is more unique to UC when the official Nike contract begins, or am I being unreasonable to hope for that?
I think it's logical that you would see it. Like you're starting your deal with Nike. I think they would want something.
Yeah.
Kind of. I mean, they do a lot of boilerplate, a lot of the same design, but I think they would give it a little something. I mean, I don't know that for sure, but
little flair.
A little flair, a little oomph, a little something.
Royer, how'd that work with you guys when you were on the team? Like would they give because obviously that shouts to Kelsey Sharkey did an unreal job with those, uniform reveals for the upcoming games. But was it kind of just like, did they show you guys in the locker room, or was it kind of just like, okay, this is the uniform we're going to be wearing this weekend? Oh, this was special.
It's kind of funny. Like you wouldn't really know until the reveal drop. Like there'd be, if you asked the equipment guys, they'd tell you, and like some guys would know because like they were just got the word, but it wasn't like a super official thing you watch. You're like, oh, all right, that's what we're wearing tomorrow, I guess.
Right.
I wasn't as tuned into it as some of the other guys. So you might be asking the wrong guy.
Yeah.
I didn't really give a shit what I looked like. It wasn't really going to change much for me. You get to see, get the 3-5 threads out there, a couple plays a game. They don't really care what color they are, man. They just want to get out there.
You had some extra swag though out there. Come on now, we saw those additionals.
I had the what is that shit called? The like super tight sleeve when you have like for compression because you have like pain. I had that on my arm, and I went with the high socks because one day I was telling one of my buddies about how we used to wear high socks in high school, and he said that probably looks so stupid. I was like, all right, I'll wear it for the game. And I just did it, and he's like, "That looks terrible." I'm like, "All right, I'm gonna wear it every game now, just to piss you off."
I like
it. Was Bolden, by the way.
Of course.
Yeah. I wasn't the most dripped out man on the team.
Of course it was. All right. How? I don't doubt that for a second. How big do you expect our recruiting class to be on July 15th?
I know. I was like, what is happening here?
How big? Catch up.
That Bobcat Wi-Fi out there. What's going on?
I'd read the
How
question.
Big do you... Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's like you're on a 4-second delay.
I'm doing my best. I don't know what you want from me.
It's just funny because nothing matches up. You're responding to us we have moved on, and you're responding to what we talked about 5 seconds ago.
At least we have power.
Yeah,
it's getting better now.
You're caught back up. You're good.
You're back.
Let's go.
All right. How big do you expect our recruiting class to be on July 15th?
I have no idea.
July 15th.
Big as in size or star power?
We're at this point now where the recruiting calendar has been sped up to the point most classes are done by the middle to end of July now.
Right.
I don't know, 17, 18. I mean, I think they like to keep some options open.
Yeah.
But if they get the right guys, it could obviously go bigger. I'll guess, pure guess, 17 commits on July 15th.
Oh,
Pure guess.
I
That's
know
freshman, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, like incoming freshmen. Yeah, yeah. I think. By the way, that fantastic pod last week with Zach Grant. He is the man. I couldn't. Was that the longest a guest has been on? The full 2 hour length?
No, we've had a couple go for 2 hours before, but I mean, he would have just kept going. I had to like tell them, like, let him go.
But no, he was good. He was really good. And you kind of hear the want to continue to grow the program organically through a solid 20 member freshman class each year. So as far as July 15th with the sped up calendar, yeah, I mean, I think between 15 and 17 I think would be pretty spot on.
Brent, I feel like there were some shows that Brady was on with us where he was on for almost 2 hours, if not longer.
Oh yeah.
So
good old Brady, man.
How quickly you forget.
Nico
with Brady, it just he's been close, but with Brady, it just depended on what was in the cooler.
Right.
Like if the cooler wasn't empty, he would keep going.
Oh yeah. How about one episode he got the hiccups?
Yeah.
Or what was in the tin?
Yeah. What a guy. All right.
Would you say we should have 75% of the class come kickoff versus Townsend? Trying to understand if there's any changes in recruiting.
Yeah, I just kind of covered that. Like, there are very few late commitments anymore. The way that this calendar sets up, generally by middle to end of July, like you have the spine of your recruiting class. You might add a few parts here and there after, but like I said, what happens between here's the thing. Once camp starts, recruiting is kind of out the window. Like, unless the kid's already committed and he wants to like announce on his birthday or something, like once camp starts, coaches are pretty locked in all the way up until, they get back to campus and start doing game prep. So by the middle of July, we should know. And I would, that 65, 70%, maybe more. They get who they want, it'll be more.
Yeah. Right. You guys had to go to a road game this season. Which would you choose?
No brainer.
Colorado for
Colorado.
You,
Colorado.
1,000,000%. And I will go. Screw it.
I think I'm gonna try too, Brent. We need to meet up.
Let's do it, baby. Let's do it. The other options just real fast. Texas Tech, UCF.
I'm going to
Colorado, Iowa State, Kansas State.
I do want to see Ames.
Yeah.
I think I probably would rather see it for basketball.
Yeah.
But I do want to check out Ames because it's on the list that I have not. I used to live in Texas, so I've been to some of the Texas spots.
Mm-hmm.
It was when I was a little child, but over the years I've popped in a couple of those places. I haven't been to Lubbock. It's hard. You get to Lubbock, it's hard.
No.
But Ames is definitely on the list. Colorado is the easy one.
Yeah.
I've been in the Little Apple once.
Yeah.
As I was driving to Vegas, we just saw Manhattan, Kansas, and we're like, "Oh, let's go check it out," and we did.
Here.
But that's it for Kansas State. I haven't been there for any sporting events.
Yeah. I mean, I had some buddies that went to Colorado and they say it's just an immaculate, on game day.
I've heard nothing but good things.
Perfect. Yeah. So, and that should be the good crisp air at that time too. So lock it in.
I'm going to Florida in October, so I'm all about going down to Orlando.
Hey now.
Yeah. Also, Ames is in November, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that.
November 16th in Ames.
Yeah, I don't want to do. I don't want. I take it back. Disregard everything I just said. I don't want to do that.
I'll go in, cold month, but let's just make sure that we're inside watching a basketball game.
Right.
All right.
I do not want to hide in Iowa in November.
No.
Hard pass.
Yeah.
I know that we aren't talking too deep, but can you give us some contenders to keep an eye on across the defensive line at the various positions?
Dante Corleone.
He's good.
Jalen Hunt.
Eric,
I think
Eric
he's going to have
Phillips.
I think Jalen Hunt will have a very big final year. EP. I love EP. I need EP to be more like get some stuff the stat sheet a little bit. EP. Go out there and get you some tackles, get you some sacks. Like he's made some big important plays, but overall, I think he could. Yeah, he is.
Very under like he's flying under the radar, like you're saying. Like he can pop off like out of nowhere. He just has got to make the plays.
I'd like to see him be a little more consistent. How's that?
Yeah.
Micah Coleman, I think, is got a chance to have a big year. And then some of the newer transfers, I'm excited to see when we get to higher ground on that D line.
All right. That is the football portion of the mailbag. Moving on to the basketball portion of the mailbag. When do you anticipate the announcement of the completed out-of-conference schedule?
Before October. I mean, it should be, I think, July, sometime in July last year. People complained about it all the way through June and into July that they were one of the last ones to announce it.
Yeah.
Those things usually stay in the same pocket, stay in the same timeline. So mid-July, mid to late July, something like that.
We did hear the Dayton game scheduled for the 20th, December 20th, which is a Friday, which that Thursday, you know what's going on that Thursday night, don't you, Royer?
December 19th.
Little brownies at Bengals, little who day.
Oh.
And then the very next day.
I'll be there.
There we
I'll
go.
get both of those.
Hey now. Hey, maybe I will too. We got a link up.
Let's go Browns, man.
Yeah.
Big year for the boys.
There we go. Let's see.
Every year. That's what they all say.
Every year, always big.
It's our year, man.
You truly sound like a Browns fan. It's skills development season. Which of the following players evolving into a 35% shooter from three would have the biggest impact on this team's upside next year? Skillings, Jizzle and or Day-Day, and Mitchell.
Well, Mitchell's never made a three in a college basketball game.
So if he adds a 35% clip out of nowhere, that's a pretty damn good player.
That's a large jump.
Or he just takes one and then he's 100% and that's it.
Or Mamadou Diarra.
1 for 2. He's 1 for 2, Aaron. He's a 50% three-point shooter.
Sure.
One of the best in the history of the program. 50%. For me, I think it's Jizzle and Day-Day. They're going to have the ball in their hands. They both need to shoot it considerably better. I think both were under 30%. Dan, it would be like it would take Dan's game to another level if he's a 35+% three-point shooter. But his first step is still so good. He still can score in a bunch of other ways that make the offense dangerous. I think if the two guys with the ball in their hands the most, if they can combine to shoot 35%, this offense is going to cook. I do have a follow-up when we get done with this question.
Jizzle, 28.7 on 80 attempts. Dan, 28.6 on 140 attempts. Day-Day, 125 attempts, 28%. So Yeah.
They were all pretty bad at it.
They were. Just to continue conversation, I'm gonna go with Dan. I think in order for your team to be, from good to great to Final Four contender, you need like a bona fide NBA talent on your team. And
Yeah, no
I
argument
think
there.
they've got some good pieces. I think if Dan developed a 35% clip from three, shooting 140 attempts in a year, that will skyrocket him onto NBA draft boards. So just to kind of go against the grain, because I think obviously Day and Jizzle adding that would be massive, but I'll go Dan.
I'm with Chad. I think it's the point guards because they have the ball in their hands and I think Jizzle more so than Day, but I think both of them are shoot first, pass second point guards. And if you're going to be shooting, you got to be making them, and shooting under 30% ain't gonna cut it.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you, Aaron. I'm on team Day Jizzle. Even though, I like your point that he would, if Dan rips 35%, you're like, what is he not doing? That's a guy you're like, right. Just get him the ball. Like, he might be carrying us through a lot of these close games.
Mm-hmm. Here's an interesting thought based on what happened at South Carolina last year. Their marginal shooters didn't take great jumps working with Tim Buckley. But you know what happened? Their 41, 42% shooter ended up shooting like 47, 48%.
Mm-hmm.
So what if a Connor Hickman working with Tim Buckley is all of a sudden a 47, 48% shooter where he's making almost 5 out of every 10 threes? Or if Seamas takes a jump working with Buckley,
right?
Would you take that over one of the other guys jumping up to 35? If you get one of the guys that are really good shooters that jump up to almost 50.
Yeah, because then that would aid to what those three guys are really good at. And that's slashing, getting to the basket, kind of scoring in those other ways. So I think, I think if you get two bona fide floor stretchers that like teams have to make sure that they account for, then I think that's a pretty obvious answer there. Because 35% is good. It's good, but 47% is really
it's Kobe Barea. Like he just torched people every time he touched the ball for Dayton last year.
And then Holmes was able to then cook because Brea was spacing everyone out. Yeah, for sure. I agree. Good point.
I just thought I would add that because that was the anomaly. And like normally he has taken all those guys that were lower numbers and elevated them.
Yeah.
But last year at South Carolina, they stayed flat. But the guy at the top of the food chain went off the chart almost.
Yeah, his main ones are like, it's like I think at IU he like raised certain guys like Zeisloft was a guy. Yogi was a guy that would be the example of going from a 30% up to he shot like 40% by the end of his career. But I mean he boosted Christian Watford from decent to really good. He's done a lot to really boost these players. So I agree.
Great question. It can take a while for new guys to pick up on a new system, where to be on the court, etc., for different plays. How much longer does it take for them to pick up on multiple positions? Mitchell could conceivably play 3 spots. I'm guessing Page and Hickman will play 2 different spots.
That depends on the player. That is almost, especially when you're talking veteran players, it is really difficult for a young guy to come in and learn multiple spots. That's like why we kind of tried to calm people down on the whole Jizzle and Day playing together early because they were still both learning the one. You weren't really in a position to then force them both to learn the two. But as they get older, guys have a little bit more understanding of what's being asked of them. what the terminology in the system is, things like that. So it's a lot easier the more college basketball you played, but also what's your basketball acumen? Like, what is your ability to retain? That's probably especially defensively, the hardest part of it is what the retention is, so that you're not learning the same shit
right
every day. It's player to player.
Yeah, I mean, you heard, if you listen to the most recent New Heights pod, they kind of were talking. Well, it might have been. I think it was the most recent, or it was 2 weeks ago. But anyway, they were talking about like playbooks and how, like, initially you do read full playbooks. You want to know what's going on. You want to know who's where.
I did see a clip where Jason was like, "I don't want anything to do with it."
Right, and then
I want to walk on the field and go, "I got to block this guy."
Yeah, and then once you are able to just understand, like, okay, yes, you do have to learn these certain nuances at different positions, but in the end, if you're just a good basketball player or you're just a good football player, you're gonna know what you need to do on the play for that play to be able to execute and happen. So, yeah, it definitely is more. That's where the whole basketball IQ thing ties into things. So, multiple positions, I don't think it's probably too much of a difference because you are learning the whole entire way that things operate through install.
No, especially defensively, it can be a lot. Like,
right, yeah, that way. But I feel like in the end, if you just know what you're doing and you just listen to the coaching staff and whatnot, I feel like it couldn't be too difficult to do two positions, learning those. So we'll see.
Hopefully, the guys we have high basketball.
Mitchell has always been praised for his, ability to pick things up and his maturity, and his defensive acumen. So I think he'll be game for it. We'll see.
All right. Who will garner more W's on the hardwood for the Bearcats during the 24-25 season? A, Wes Miller, 22-15 last year, or B, Katrina Merriweather, 14-18 last year?
I go West just because he's farther ahead in the process. He's been building his roster for a couple years instead of two, or really one. Like, she got the job a year ago. So I'll go West, but that's not to take anything away from Katrina. I think she's just still working, 2 years behind. You got to be impressed with what she's doing. She's working fast, but, I think we'll see a step from them. But look, man, this men's basketball team better win quite a bit.
On paper, they're really, really good.
Right.
Yes, Katrina's doing a great job. Obviously, love having her on the pod, friend of the network, this, that, and the other, and she's going to win a lot of games. But this is the year for West to really kind of blow up onto the scene and really get a lot of eyes on Cincinnati. So the answer has to be West, if we're being honest with ourselves.
I agree. I think improvement. I think you might see more wins above where they were last year. And I know that the Big 12 is really hard to win in for Cincinnati, but looking at some of the close games that they lost, if they're even getting half of those close games that they lost last year, or improving their home games by even 50%, I think that you're improving just head over heels.
Yeah. Well, if they only win the same number of games they won last year, we had big trouble because there's two more games. So they'd be 7-13, and I'd be turning over the website to Royer.
I'm at 50%. I'm at 50, like an improvement of 50%. Not.
I know. No, initially you said they need to win more games than they won in the conference last year, not thinking they added 2. So if they only won 7, it would. No. Brent would be the proud proprietor of BearcatJournal.com.
Man, I would be a very sad man.
You'd also be getting Bearcat Journal for pennies on the dollar at that point. So.
Right, exactly.
I'd still make him pay a lot for it, but
buy low, sell high, Brent.
Exactly.
All right. What is more difficult to achieve as a college player? A, elite lockdown status as a defender, a la Rashad Bishop, John Newton III, Day, or B, an 18-point per game score with reasonable efficiency, 37% from 3, 45% from 2, 75% from the stripe.
It's a tough one. I think the key word here is to do B with efficiency, because that's really hard. To be an elite college defender, an elite lockdown status defender, you have to have some physical tools that, either you have them or you don't. You got to be strong. You got to be wiry. You got to be able to, in today's game, get over screens. And
Long.
there's an athletic profile for elite defender. There's really not an athletic profile for 18-point a game scorer. Again, the key being efficient, not just a guy that's putting up, 24 shots a game to get his 18 points.
Right.
So, I'm a defense guy, and I love my lockdown perimeter defenders, but 18 points a game in college is really tough. Like there's just not many of those out there. And to do it efficiently, that's hard. It's hard.
Yeah, there were, let's see here, 84 players in all of college basketball that averaged 18 or more points per game last year.
And then, you don't have this answer, but how many of them did it efficiently?
Right.
Probably a lot fewer than 84.
Yeah. I think you kind of got, kind of have to have that dog in you too, if you will, to have the defensive side of things too.
Yeah.
But I think that, I think to efficiently score 18 points per game in college is more difficult than to have that dog and want to be an elite lockdown defender. So
Agreed.
I'd say it's 18 points per game is definitely more difficult.
I think we're all on the same page.
Roy, what do you think? 18 points per game?
Or lockdown defender, elite lockdown defender.
I don't know. 18 points is a lot.
Efficiently, a whole lot.
Yeah. Especially in the Big 12.
Yeah.
I mean, what was SK the last 18 point per game score for Cincinnati?
I think the score, I got 18 points.
I don't think Jaron ever got that high. I know Jake didn't.
No.
I know Gary didn't. And Jaron probably should have got that high later in his career.
Don't get me started on that.
I just paint defense.
Could have painted the town red.
Hey.
Anyway, have you noticed a difference in the high school recruits' expectations with how college basketball teams are staying older by the minute? I find it interesting how quickly the landscape in high school recruiting has changed for recruits outside the top 50.
I mean, it's hard to say yet because it's all still happening in real time. And there's still a lot of reconfiguring going on in the college landscape. But I mean, honestly, the high school recruits' expectations are going to be the same until they get to campus, like it's always been, unless you're one of those elite, walk on the court and be the best player on the floor instantly type guys. They all think they're going to come in, and especially, top 100 guys, this hasn't changed. They all think they're going to come in and be the difference maker. And a very low percentage of them will play a lot, and most of them will play some. And there's a good number that won't play much, if at all. So I don't think their expectations have changed yet, UC alum. I think the landscape is changing around them, and I think they would be wise to pay attention to it. But I don't think we're there yet because it's still so new. It's still, nothing has settled. Like,
right.
right now, somebody has taken a bottle of Coke, shaken it up, and like, you know, when you just barely crack the air and the whole thing turns to foam, but it hasn't exploded yet.
Yeah.
That's kind of where we're at.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It will be fascinating to see if certain, high schoolers start to go the route where they do go to, a certain school that might not be their best offer that they got, and then, try and blow up a little bit their first couple of years there, and then hit the transfer portal and get a big NIL bag after having a couple of good seasons. You know what I mean? Like, that's been something that's been tossed around like an idea or a thought. I know, like UAB in football, they're openly telling players to come here. You'll play early. We'll show you how good you are, and then
Hit the
we want to
portal
then
and
help you. Yeah, we want to then help you get to your next spot, and so that'll be fascinating to
it's
see.
a great G5 recruiting strategy.
It is. Yeah,
I would do it if I were at that level. They're gonna leave anyway. You might as well
doing it. They're doing everything different down at UAB, though. Trent Dilfer's got an entirely different program than anywhere in the entire country. I mean, by telling your players to go unionize, no one else is doing that. So he's doing everything different down there. Well played.
Yeah, very well played. But I did want to mention a quick aside. Jaron averaged 18.8 his junior year, which just makes me even more angry about his senior year. So
I was making a senior year joke. I forgot that he had a really, really good junior year too.
Yeah. Gosh, I can't believe that. All right. Next question.
That one painter. Who sees more time on the floor this season, Reed or Rayvon?
Probably Josh, because he's won that spot once.
Mm-hmm.
But my question would be, where do you see Rayvon playing? Is he going to be more at the 2 or more at the 3?
He's not a 2.
I understand that, but I see an awful lot of people who think that he is a 2 and have listed him on their little depth charts as 2.
I think he's a legit wing.
He's a 3. Like he's
like
he's not going to be a secondary ball handler. He's not a combo guard. He's not at this point a prolific 3-point shooter. Like he's a 3.
Yeah, I think 3. Yeah, I mean, obviously.
Could you play him like they played Dan at the 2 last year, and Dan is not a 2 either. He played a lot of minutes there. So could he play there? Yes. Do I think he will play there, especially if you've got CJ and Hickman healthy and Chisel and Day? Who's he going to play over at the 2?
Right. I think you saw Wes kind of have a little faith in Josh throughout the year last year. Definitely a plus at times on the defensive side of the court. So I think that trust alone should lead to him seeing more minutes. But I mean, if Rayvon can come in and say, okay, I'm going to do the same defensive thing that Josh did to get on the court.
Sure.
I think Rayvon is probably a little bit more athletic than Josh. So if that
I don't think that's up for debate.
Right. So if that's something that Rayvon could do early in his career, is like really focus on the defensive side of the court, then I know Wes likes these kind of longer athletic defensive types to be out there. So who knows? We'll see who kind of just takes that role and defines it, because Reed obviously got a little bit of a nod from the staff and
he
from
won
Wes.
the job last year.
Right. So
I'm always going to root for Rayvon. I love him being a hometown kid, and I would love to see him elevate his game to be better than Josh Reed. Just personal bias, I guess. Call it what you will.
Yeah, you hate Josh Reed. I don't know why you
hate
Josh Reed.
Don't hate Josh Reed.
He's a nice kid, Aaron.
It has nothing to do with that, and you know that. Don't hate Josh Reed. I hate his offense. I don't think that's unfair to say. But yeah. Anyway. Hall of Fame walls and honoring players, coaches, where does that stand right now? Being worked on or buried on the TDY list?
We have asked John Cunningham. He has said they are working on it.
Plans.
Aside from that, I don't know. You know what I know on that category.
Yeah.
It is also very, like, I know it matters to fans, and I probably should ask about it more, but it's just not really like top of mind for me. If I get like time, I have a list of things that I want to ask before I get to retired numbers and Hall of Fame walls.
Yeah.
I
Hey,
probably should be better about that because I know it's something that's important to people.
right.
I'm just telling you, like, when I get in those situations and I've got stuff that I want to know, this is generally not where my brain goes.
Right. Well, John was at the Fog. He saw, what they do to, recognize past players and whatnot. And I mean, they recognized a guy that was played in the 30s at the game that we were at. So
Yeah.
I think
the guy's name I had never heard once. That was the first time I had ever heard that guy's name in my entire life.
Same. But I mean, John's a smart guy, so he knows if he starts to feel pulse heading one way, he can kind of figure out a way to make it happen. So we'll see.
I'm sure conversations like this happens between fans too when you see those the eye emojis when number announcements come out and things of that nature. So I get it.
Tough.
Coach Buckley, what was the draw that interested him in us? Was he in high demand this season?
He's a really good coach with a lot of experience and familiarity within the staff.
Yeah.
Drew knows him really well. Jake knows him really well.
Mm-hmm.
They have a mutual connection in Tom Crean with him and Chad Dollar. Mike Roberts knows him really well, even though Mike's not on staff anymore. Mike is still one of Wes's best friends. So yeah, that was the draw. Was he in high demand? I mean, he had a really good job. That's about in this world, that's about as high demand as you can get. Did a really good job in the SEC with a promising young coach that had an outstanding debut season. That's a lot of job security.
Yes, it is. Yes, it
that
is.
He left on the table.
It was pretty fascinating to see that in one of the articles I read, Crean said that, he didn't give Adams his start. It was more Buckley suggested to Crean that Adams was ready to be a great coach. And so that was
the other thing there is Buckley was an assistant at Iowa when Drew Adams was a walk-on. Yep. So Buckley was actually Drew Adams' coach.
Yep.
And then championed for him at Indiana. And then that started Drew's career. So the connections on this one are very deep. Like,
they are.
There's a lot of respect and a lot of positivity in what he can do for the staff.
And that ends the basketball portion of the mailbag. There were no questions in the baseball portion of the mailbag this week, but we will move on to the last mailbag, and that's the Banks, of course.
Hey.
So what is your favorite food? I feel like this has been asked before, but we'll do it again.
I love to hear Royer's answer.
Pasta.
Chicken Parmesan cooked by my grandmother.
Oh, baby.
Can't beat it.
Cannot beat that. What is the noodles of choice? Is it spaghetti?
Yeah.
Do you say spaghetti or do you say spaghetti?
No, I don't do all that, man. I got my American ass Midwest accent.
All right. Good.
I love angel hair pasta, by the way.
Oh yeah. Angel hair is good. But she would always make it with spaghetti, or if we had some of the leftover fettuccine from the holidays, we de-thaw that with the sauce.
And you don't say mozzarella?
No, I like saying that as like just for fun, but I'll never say it seriously.
Is it the Sunday gravy?
I'm no
or the
pretender,
sauce?
man. Oh, it's sauce. What do you think this is? Come on.
Come on now. Come on.
It's
now.
sauce.
Let's go.
Brett,
Pizza. I almost said the F word. I love pizza. It's so good.
how do you really feel?
Yeah,
I think
damn.
I think it's fascinating how good pizza could be.
Do you have a favorite pizza spot in Cincy?
You know what? I haven't been to enough to really give the love and the correct answer Cincy wise. But man, I don't discriminate when it comes to pizza. All kinds, every crust style, anything. Just throw it at me and I will be eating that pizza. So yeah.
There you go.
I feel like that's how I am with burgers, Brent. I don't
Yeah.
care if it's like a gourmet, like Red Robin burger, or like
Right.
just it can be like a nice burger, or even something as simple as like a White Castle slider. I don't care. Just give me a burger. I'm here for all of the burgers.
Okay.
It can be
I love it.
a big juicy burger. It can be a smash burger. It doesn't matter. You can put so many different things on burgers. It doesn't like so many different sauces, so many different tastes and flavor profiles you can do with burgers. I'm big on the burgers.
There we go. There we go.
So we've got Italian, kind of Italian, American. I'll take Mexican food gladly.
Okay.
There's so many different things you can do. You know what I got? Have you guys seen these new birria bombs on TikTok?
No.
So like if you're making birria, there's a lot of work that goes into it. You have to rehydrate the chilies and get all the seeds out and cut them up and then blend them up and then make the sauce and whatever. They're like bath bombs. Like they look exactly like a bath bomb, but it's all the ingredients for birria. And you just put the meat in a crock pot with water and you put the bomb in there and it turns it into birria. So I'm doing that. I ordered those. I'm going to try that. But like enchiladas, I love. Tacos, I love. Burritos, I love. I love rice and refried beans. The thing about Mexican that's great is you're basically getting the same thing, but they can make it taste like 40 different ways. I love it. I'll go Mexican.
I think it's pronounced birria, but
yeah, I'm not doing that. Just birria. Yeah,
birria.
Sure. Quesadillas. Wolfie's right. Quesadillas are delicious. I love a good quesadilla.
Mm-hmm.
Can't beat them
with you.
Cannot beat them. All right, Aaron.
And the last question in the mailbag. After playing a game or two to learn the basics, what will be your first deep dive game mode in college football 2025? Road to glory, dynasty as head coach of the Bearcats, dynasty starting as a coordinator at a small school and making your way up to a big-time program, competing online, or something else? I will probably have about 16 different things going on at the same time and jumping into all of them at random. I'm excited about everything about this game. I plan on doing like a build your own school and running Wright State as a football team. I plan on doing the Road to Glory. I plan on doing starting as a small coordinator. I plan on having a dynasty where it's a relegation dynasty where teams will move up and down in conferences based on their win losses from the previous season. I'm going to have all sorts of shit going on. It's going to be stupid.
And we're going to have the Bearcat Journal League.
Yeah. So
really?
I'm a little nervous about this, Chet.
platform.
That's what I'm nervous about. It's the fact that there is not cross-platform.
Oh, really?
So
we're just going to have to tell people you either play PS5 or you're not in our Dynasty League. Because you have PS5 and I have PS5. So I'm not buying an Xbox.
No shot.
To play with any of you chumps. So
man,
if you have a PS5, you can be in our Dynasty. And if not, then you can't. Start your own.
Is it not cross-platform? I feel like they fixed that by now.
Dynasty is not cross-platform. Online Dynasty is not cross-platform.
Not this, at least not this first iteration, at least not
right
in the how they're releasing it. It could be a patch later on. I've not seen enough on it to know if that's something that's even possible or not. But as of now, It is not going to be released cross-platform.
So it's funny listening to Zach Grant last weekend. I mean last week, how he would like kind of cheat a little bit and like go for. I did the same thing, but
Of
if I was
course
like
you did.
if I was just doing like a simulate and then I saw like certain outcomes for certain games didn't go the way I needed them to, I would just quickly turn it off like so fast because the autosave is like really fast too. So I was crazy with the dynasty mode. I absolutely loved it because Road to Glory was too easy. I was winning the Heisman as like a sophomore every single time. So definitely dynasty. 100% loved it. Absolutely loved it.
I don't know that I'll play a single game online that doesn't involve the Bearcat Journal Dynasty. But outside of that, I think I'll be leaving the.
Wait, so it's gonna be the Bearcat Journal Dynasty. Like, is everyone gonna be playing as the Bearcats? Like, how's that gonna work?
No, you got to.
Let me get my hands on the game, establish the rules, and hopefully by week 2 of owning the game, I have the rules set up and we can get the dynasty going. But if you are interested in it, my DMs on Twitter are open.
And if you have PS5,
correct?
because that's a requirement
At this point, correct. That's the mailbag. Wish we could get us out of here, Brent.
Hey man, we're doing pretty damn well. That was good. That was good. Now Chad can if he has to go, he can freely leave whenever. But for the time being, let's timestamp this as we still have Chad here.
First, I'm going to timestamp Quick Paper Supply, your local and family-owned restaurant supply company for all your non-food products. They service over 150 restaurants with weekly low minimum next day deliveries, providing a wide range of food service products from to-go containers, cups, custom printed products, eco-friendly, and much more. They also have cleaning and restroom supplies for all your janitorial needs. Call Nick 513-470-2029 and reference Bearcats for 20% off your first month of purchases. I think I'm okay. I think I've got enough time for riffing.
There we go. I think we got enough time for riffing too. But real quick, I did see a Rothstein tweet pop up saying the Big 12 has voted to introduce Hollywood floor seats for the home team during the 2024-25 college basketball season. These seats will be between the scorer's table and the team
and
bench.
the bench. Yeah,
like the NBA. So
I hate them. I mean, I don't really care, but I hate them.
That I wonder if they had to pass that.
It's better than private equity. Give me Hollywood seats all day.
Yeah. Who knows?
They need money. Everybody needs money. Hollywood seats, guess what? Them shits is going to be expensive.
Yep.
So
It's gonna be.
I can't wait to see who our Jack Nicholson is.
I know.
it's always Nick Lachey, isn't it?
Always.
It's the easiest answer.
Can we get Ellie De La Cruz interested in the basketball program? That'd be kind of fun.
Give him Hollywood seats, probably.
Get Jamar Chase in there.
T. Higgins has been to UC for games.
Yeah, he has. Mixon was, but now Mixon
he's not going to be at Paul Brown Stadium for games for long, but
probably not.
Yeah, different combo for a different time. Royer, we riffing, baby. We riffing. Chad, do the read.
Yes, sir. Jeez. Fiercely independent and unabashedly innovative, New Riff produces award-winning bourbon, rye whiskey, and gin at their distillery in Newport, Kentucky. The Aquafire Tasting Room, located on the 3rd floor of the distillery, features cocktails, flights, and pours of New Riff's entire line of spirits, including rare, limited edition, and distillery exclusive releases. Bearcat Journal listeners can save 50% on distillery tours when you use the code Bearcats24. For more information or to book a tour, visit newriffdistilling.com.
Hey.
All right. First
Let's
question.
rip it up.
I know you guys all probably saw the picture of the guys back on Nippert working out, running. So I have a would you rather to start. Would you rather run / walk / crawl / die the stadium of Nippert, the whole stadium, front, both bowls, top and lower, or do 5 100-yard down and back sled pushes.
Oh,
100-yard down and back sled pushes.
Yeah. Not like super heavy, but it's not like you can just sprint it down.
I would do the sled pushes.
You said it's 5 of them, so it's 1,000 yards total.
Yes.
Look, let's be honest here. When I go up the steps at Nippert once, I'm about done with the steps at Nippert.
oh man.
And that's just from the field to halfway. If I
Yeah.
had to do every stairwell, top and bottom, does that include, like, do you have to run through the suites?
Greg.
How heavy are
How-
the sleds? I don't think it
heavy are the
matters
sleds?
because I at least stand a chance to do
There's
the
two
sleds.
45-pound plates on them.
I at least stand a chance to do the sled eventually.
Yeah.
I stand zero chance to do all of Nippert. Zero. None. Not 0.01, 0.00
You
before
could
you would
walk
find
it.
me dead. No, I can barely walk it once.
His back would give out 1,000%. His back would give out, Ryan.
Yeah.
My back would give out on the sled too.
I don't know if you've seen my cast Royer, but they're the best cast in the entire country. So I will be pushing that sled up and down that field.
You always
5
wear
times.
pants. You wear pants on a 90-degree day.
I understand that. I
It's a
want to look a
pants
little
city.
professional, but yeah, I mean, you catch me in shorts one day, you're like, damn, dude, did you used to ball? And I'm like, yeah, kind of, not really, but yeah. And then I'm like, wow, let's push this sled up and down the field 5 times. Can I get Nico in my ear?
No,
whole
you're
way?
going Goggins mode. No music, just you. You're just out there,
Just me,
suffering.
just me and my inner voice.
Just a man in his sled.
Just one time through Nippert?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd do that for sure.
I think it's what, like, I
That's a lot.
think it's like 25 rows on the lower bowl, and then the other side, it's not as bad, but it's just like the extra.
You'd have to come get me in like 7 hours. But yeah. we could do it.
I'm kind of with Chad though. When I'm leaving the field on game day to go up to the press box, when I get up that flight of stairs, start sweating, and you're like,
Yeah.
and then if you don't time it right and you get to the elevator and it's reserved for the coaches, then you're like, oh gosh, I got to climb up these stairs now to get to the press box. Those are the rough days.
I have a hard time with one. I can't imagine doing all of them.
Right.
It's that they change. It's that some are long
It's
strides, some
It
are
is
choppy
weird.
strides.
Yeah.
Like, no. that
I
hurts.
understand
It
how
hurts.
you guys like
hard.
sprint those, like how do people not fall, Royer? I feel like that's taking some coordination, man.
I don't remember anyone ever falling. I remember guys like laying down during the sprints and just saying like, I can't do it. I can't breathe. Or like, my chat, just screaming, just anything just to not be able to do it. And then we eventually peel them up off the ground and make them finish.
I can't wait to hear
Yeah.
those names after the show.
Yeah, you'll love them.
Popular
Or,
ones.
One
Popular
time someone goes, I'm gonna shit myself. It was so funny.
Did you,
Oh,
Royer? Did you ever
oh.
did you ever do the stairs with the sock?
That would have been a good one. I don't know if we would have had good picture evidence from Kelsey back in the day. It probably would have the page probably would have got taken down or something.
Oh boy.
You guys ready for number 2? I only got 2 this
Yep.
week again.
Born ready.
All right. 2-part question, same topic. So, who do you think is the better cook out of Wes, Sat, or Bishel And who would you rather sit down and eat the food with?
Huh.
I will go first. I will gladly go first because
Okay.
I think Wes is probably the best cook right now for the reasons that he is single, and you need to be a good cook.
See,
Or he
I
just eats
I
out.
would absolutely disagree there that he just doesn't cook.
Right.
He eats out.
But
Constantly.
I would rather eat with Bishel out of everybody because I think that would be the most fun conversation between the three.
Brett?
What did Sat say he did to celebrate like the first win or something? He went to like Ruby Tuesdays or something, didn't he? Like I remember he like tweeted that or something.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna say that Bishel's the best cook, and then I'll probably eat with Wes.
I'm guessing Sat can cook.
Yeah,
Grew up in
probably.
a small, tiny town in North Carolina. Like Wes grew up in Greensboro. Family was pretty well off. Like I'm guessing Wes didn't spend a lot of time like having to cook when he was growing up. I bet Sat learned at least.
True.
Bishel, he doesn't strike me as the guy that spends a lot of time in the kitchen, like making a lasagna.
But like, it does seem like he could cook up some sort of just like random.
he
little slop
seems
that
like a
tastes
grill
like-
master.
Yeah.
Oh, I
him
could
out
see
on
him
the grill.
grilling. I could see him grilling for sure. I'll go with Sat as the guy that would cook the meal. I have dinner with Wes. Like Wes and I have a great connection, and we have good talks. So when he's not giving me shit publicly, I'll go with Wes.
There we go. There we go. Love it.
Ryan, who would you eat with, Ryan?
I feel like I have the most personal interaction with Satterfield. I like Bishel's energy. Wes does intrigue me. I don't know. Probably
You weren't ready for
Wes.
this question.
Probably no. I normally don't answer my own questions. I think I would do Wes because I think there's a lot of stuff like I'd like to know about Wes. I think there's a lot of things that I think we'd have in common. I think the way he coaches his team it really impresses me. I feel like I align with a lot of his styles,
values,
his values. So I mean that's me just spitballing, but I feel like I might be on par, Chad, would you say? The way his guys play for him, the way they love him. So
yeah.
I think he's got a lot of stuff that I would love to get to know about. But Bishel would probably be like the most entertaining for sure.
Bishel would if the question was who do you want to go have a drink with, I think it would be Bishel.
I assume drinks are with dinner.
Yeah, but I mean I'm talking about like going and sitting at a bar and like having drinks. Like not like dinner is conversational, right? Like I think when you're at the bar having drinks, the conversation is different. Is that fair?
What about if it's like a movie date? And then you have to drive him back home and make sure you're home by 10.
I'm not going to say anything. I have an answer that I want to say, but I'm not going to say anything.
I'm not touching that one either. No way.
Damn. Thought for sure you guys would want that one.
Well, who's
My name's
the best
Paul,
cook
and
you
that's
think?
between y'all.
Who's the best cook you think, Roy?
I think Sat.
Yeah.
Those guys that grew up in the middle of nowhere, like those guys, you learned how to cook.
Right. He's cooking up some offensive schemes right now. That's what he's doing. How
The
about
concrete
Oh,
golly. Well, that was
Good
ripping with
stuff,
Royer.
Ryan. Good stuff.
That was ripping with Royer. Golly, my favorite segment every week. Love it. I love it.
Make sure you
Let's
repeat that at the end of the show, just like you always do.
I will.
Let's throw a timestamp on it. Quick Paper Supply, your local and family-owned restaurant supply company for all your non-food products. They provide mostly disposable restaurant supplies, products like to-go containers, cups, pizza boxes, to-go bags, can liners, napkins. They've been open since 2009 and are one of the largest minority-owned companies in the city. Call Nick 513-470-2029 and reference Bearcats for 20% off your first month of purchases.
All right.
Anybody else? Where's Keegan?
I sent him the invite. It's not on me. He got it the same time as these other two knuckleheads.
He said he was going to do some writing. Oh, never mind. He texted me a few minutes ago. He's got something going on.
Oh, no keys. Well, we were going to have Keegan on to discuss the visitors this past weekend, because he's got that good info. But if we don't have that,
we can just call it a night if you guys want to. I gotta bounce anyway.
Yeah,
we've already done the nightcap. We've already done Riffing with Royer. We've met all of our financial and fiscal responsibilities for this program.
Yeah, anything else?
Unless you guys answer the movie date question, then I think we can finally call
Get us out of here, Brent.
Get us out of here, Brent.
Well, hey guys, that was a nice abbreviated version of the beautiful Bearcat Bounce podcast. There's going to be more and more to talk about as the summer progresses. The little birdies are actually going to be real and flying high, and we'll be bringing you all of those from their beautiful eye. And of course, we're going to also have the ability to continue to see the growth, the development of year 2 of Coach Scott Satterfield and football in the Big 12. But it's been a fun, interesting trip on this Monday night. So without further ado, we have nothing left. So I'm going to go ahead and sign it off. I'm going to say for my guys, my pals, the crew, the squad. That's right. Aaron Smith, Chad Brendel, and Ryan Royer. I am Brent Young. Yet again, another fantastic BBP presented by BearcatJournal.com.
Never this early, but see ya!